We're grateful that you're still with us on Business Focus. My name is Kweku Temeng. At this point, we move to that person I call a mover. Why is he a mover? Having challenges with our energy sector, occasionally they will tell you the network is on, off. You can really buy energy when you go to the electricity post. Can we solve all these challenges with solar? Today I talk about solar, and he's an expert in the field. Francis Kweku Mensah is my mover for today. Francis, let me call you Kweku, my name.
Please.
I'm glad that I have you on this segment as my mover.
I'm happy to be on your show.
It's interesting the difficulties we go through as a country when it comes to energy. Quite recently, energy restored marginally, but you have the problem of people even buying, so to say, energy because network problems and all the difficulties that come with it. Tell me, can I rely on solar? And what are the economic benefits that as a nation we get switching to solar?
You can absolutely rely on solar. And the situation that we are experiencing now is nothing new. And I think it's going to persist. Because if you look at the industrial nations, they are also, or I would say they are even going solar to supplement their production of energy. And Ghana is no exception. We are a developing nation. We want to industrialize our economy. And for that, you need power. The Minister of Energy told us a couple of months ago that Ghana's energy growth is pegged at 12–15% per annum. That these are great figures. And someone needs to produce the power to match that. Imagine Ghana having to produce 200 megawatts a year to mitigate that. Where is the money coming from? Whereas we have the sun's irradiation shining over our heads on a daily basis. So solar, for me, and for the Western world, is the answer to growth.
Solar is the answer. Tell me, it's not everything we can power with solar. Unless you can correct me on that. What areas can we actually switch to when it comes to solar? Our day-to-day needs. Which areas can we be looking at?
Kweku, power is power, be it hydro, be it thermal. When I produce power, you can use it in turning any machine. The notion that solar can't produce power fridges, for me, is alien. Because when I have power, if I have 1 megawatt, I can turn anything. And solar, imagine France is using 1,000 kilometers to produce, of their highway to produce energy. 1 kilometer off the highway where they would place solar modules on the ground to produce power would service 5,000 homes, including heaters and all that. In our office where we work, we have solar, we have air conditioners being powered by them, fridges, and anything.
You're telling me today that my motorway, which Nkrumah developed, can actually produce solar to serve households?
The Europeans are not as lucky as we are. They have high-rise buildings. It's quite difficult to place solar panels on them. So they go to the south. Most of the majority of solar-powered homes are in the southern part of Europe, and they need space that we have in abundance. They are in such a dilemma that somebody thought of the highways that are not covered or covered by bitumen. So what they're doing is to place solar modules on them, cover them with glass, and let cars drive on them. And we're talking of 1,000 kilometers. That's a lot of space.
All right. Now, that looks very developed. Coming to look at our streets. But let me come to that average person watching us. Maybe just a 2-bedroom home, and he wants to get solar power the house. We're talking about something very expensive here, isn't it?
Well, if you want to see how that works, we could show you several examples. But coming back to your question, a one-family house or a 2-room house would need maybe a power of 1.72 kilowatts power plant. You need maybe 4 panels, a charge controller, and some batteries. with 2,000 euros, you are game.
2,000 euros could actually get you the panels that will
the
be
panels,
able to
the
power.
charge controllers, and the batteries, and all that it takes to power your lamps, your ventilator, and a fridge, and points to charge your phone, and many others. But then when you go beyond that, adding air conditioners and big equipment, you need to upscale.
Francis Kweku Mensah is the CEO of Umawa, and they tell us that, look, technology can actually help us get there. Solar can actually help us get there. So I'd want you to get a clearer understanding of when they talk about solar, what actually they can use to help Ghana achieve this feat. Now, Francis, I'd want you to look around us. What we've not done right with energy and point them out to us. Let every Ghanaian understand what we are losing, not trying to adopt solar as an alternative means of getting energy.
I mean, we're wasting energy. I said at the beginning that we have the sun up above us. If you look at the Europeans, their irradiation is much lower than ours. We have an average of about 1,500 hours of sun irradiation per annum. Norway has about 800. And you go to most of the Norwegian houses, and you have solar panels on them. So we are wasting energy. As soon as the sun goes up, that's energy we're losing. As soon as I place solar panels on my roof, it harnesses the sun's energy and powers my inverters and my batteries, and boom, there I go. I have power. This is something we need to look at.
You can share with us. These are key policies you've touched on. I wouldn't let you just slip by. So when you talk about net metering, what are you talking about? When you talk about those fiscal policies, within a few minutes, can you just help me get a clearer understanding?
Germany started by giving support to people who wanted to power their homes with solar energy. So what we could easily do is to give, for example, the two-room house person solar panels and say, look for your own inverters, look for your own battery. And then he goes to an energy bank that gives him a credit that is not as exorbitant as we are experiencing today. And then he has power. One, he goes off the grid. ECG and VRA have then enough power to power those other homes who would need much larger energies, and so on and so forth.
You can produce, harness your own energy, supply to the nation, and then later on you can take it back. Absolutely. Or you could be paid for it.
Absolutely. It's like lending power to the nation during the day when ECG and VRA need a lot of power to power factories, power offices. I support this process.
All right, so if no one is taking this up, we on Business Focus, we inspire the growth of your business. So, of course, we would go to the people who can help educate you and would take advantage and help grow your business. Francis Kweku Mensah is my mover for today. Francis, let me just get a clearer understanding on this particular development. Now we look at you, a fine gentleman. How did you end up in this solar business?
I spent most of my life in Germany. And when I relocated, I came at a time when we were really in this mess, in the mess of Dumso.
Relocated to Ghana?
To Ghana.
You met Dumso?
I met Dumso. So my plans had to change.
I'm sure at points in time you wanted to go back.
Well, I was so determined to live in this paradise of ours that I thought there should be a way. So I abandoned whatever I wanted to do, and with my good friends, Steve and Kofi, we decided to form a company that could mitigate or support what the government was doing and other IPPs were doing. And that is when Umawa was born.
Umawa Akolia.
Absolutely.
All right, let me come to one question a lot would want to find out. You touched on it marginally, but can the energy you generate be stored for you?
Yes.
The sun goes off at a point in time. When it goes off, my energy goes off, or it can actually be stored for me.
Much, much easier. The people who thought through this process also knew that sometime during the day, our Lord God will close business. And that is when he pulls his curtains and the sun goes down. So what do I do with the energy I produce, or what do I do to have energy? So batteries were invented. And these batteries we have larger sizes. And when you produce enough during the day, the rest goes into the batteries that are used to power your homes and your offices after the sun has set down.
Now, when we decide as a nation to invest in solar, when we decide to make it a business, when we tell ourselves that, look, let's create a national youth employment avenue through solar to help everybody, what job opportunities do you think we'll be creating?
I'm happy you're talking of the National Youth Employment Program. This is a program that we've also decided to join. We have started the processes of getting the youth, at least about 30 people from the program, train them, and then take them along with us. We're looking at powering our rural areas, villages, and the farming communities. We need a lot of people to do that. And I think once the government has instituted the system, we needn't invent the wheel. So we looking at partnering the National Youth Employment Program.
Employment creation. How many people do you employ now? And if given the opportunity, for instance, we move into some areas where would help the whole nation, how many people do you think you can employ? How many are you employing now?
At the moment, we are 19 in total, and we have 8 part-time people who support us in our programs. But we are in touch with the National Youth Employment Program to support us get the youth from the streets and then train them and employ them to, for example, work with us in our rural electrification program and other small programs. We know that there is a very dangerous phenomenon that I call urban migration. People leaving their villages and migrating to the south. We see them along the roads, and they should stay where they are, because in putting up these plants and these solar systems, they are the people we would want to use. They know their geography around where they live, and we want to train them to stay there to service the plants and the lives that we build in those areas.
Well, I am a consumer, an energy consumer. I'm watching the program now, and I want to get in touch with Umawa. What services or what areas do you cover? What solar needs can you help me with?
We are divergent. We produce for residentials. We produce utility scales. Utility scale, I mean, we rent roofs of warehouses and factories and place solar panels on them to produce energy for factories. Like I said, we also tackle the residential program, building power plants for homes, smaller and larger ones. The other program that we do is also build up water heating systems for hotels, private homes, and other restaurants, and also street lighting system. We have a system from Germany that has a 3-in-1 module. You have the batteries, you have the panels above, and the lamps. So you don't need to bury the batteries on ground that it heats and spoils them.
So you can always get in touch with them residential needs. And it's interesting, industries and their roofing, you would rent it and set up the whole roofing of a building such that it would generate energy for the same company.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at your roof, your home's roof. It's idle. It's not doing anything. And you can easily place solar panels on them and produce power. When you go around the nation, you see large warehouses from the cocoa producers, from water producers, from all other factories. You see their roofs bare. So what we do, like our partners also do in Europe, we rent those roofs, place solar panels, we cover the whole roof with solar panels to produce large amounts of energy. What we also do is, for example, when somebody is building a new warehouse, he needn't roof it. We can use the solar panels and other beefing materials to be the roof of that building.
Imagine your roof a solar panel. It could actually create a lot of opportunities for you. Just before I go there, a lot of people out there watching us, they, one, admire the technology, they want to get into the business, but I'll give you the opportunity to advise that person what he or she is missing not using solar.
Well, if you are watching us and you want to get into solar business, first, get informed. Get the necessary training. If you are a technician out there that wants to get into solar, it's a whole area on its own. You need to understand the nitty-gritties, the dangers in solar. It's just like electricity. If you are a carpenter and you want to be an electrician, you just don't get up in the morning and take your tools and climb the pole that you are fixing electricity. The same thing applies to solar. Get to us. Let us teach you. Let us bring you to the technology and train you to be able to do that. We need more people in this country, and that is the direction we are moving.
All right, so imagine all those homes getting off the national grid. You can start initiating the steps gradually. Umawa Akolia, and he is the CEO, Francis Kweku Mensah. Many thanks indeed. You are a mover in this area, and we look forward to seeing Ghana adopt this technology. I won't call it new, but one that would definitely enhance our energy needs. Once again, we are grateful for your time. When I come back, I'm talking about all your investments. I'm giving you a feel of why there is the need to invest in the stock market, money market instruments, and also follow closely the commodities market. It's still business focus. We're back shortly.